Yeah, I mean, every single ton means the absolute world, mate. I've just been keeping my head down, trying to work hard and make sure that I righted my wrongs from the first match. Made a silly mistake there and just wanted to be hungry today for some runs, and I was.
How did it feel out there? Felt you had to grind away a little bit earlier on. Does it make that much more satisfying that you didn't do that one? Didn't have it easy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think some hundreds in the past, maybe you get to 40 and it just feels really free flowing, and then you're on 100. Every sort of run, every boundary I scored was a bit of a scrap, and yeah, fortunate that built a really good partnership with Joss, which kind of eased it a bit, and we just ticked over nicely.
Did that 100 in South Africa actually free you up? I mean, I know we spoke about it inside. Did it free you up to continue to play your own way?
Maybe. I think mentally, maybe. I think I've been putting in the work and staying focused and keeping my head down and trying to kind of ignore a lot of the kind of smoke that's been around my form and everything like that. And I'm the first guy, I'm my biggest critic. You know, I understand I've not been in the greatest of forms, but I've been playing decent cricket. I've been playing nice. I've been hitting the ball well. So I felt as if it was just a matter of time. South Africa obviously was a big weight off my shoulders, but then today to come in with a completely different skill set was very pleasing.
You play in a certain way, and just to stay faithful to that way in challenging conditions.
Yeah, and I realised that very quickly once I stuck that one up in the air to mid-on in the first game, and watched Malin and the way he went about his innings. I quickly realised probably stuff that I already knew, but it was kind of like a reminder to switch on, pull my head in, and just kind of bat some time.
Given what happened last year with the World Cup, and knowing there's a 6-month gap after this series, around about the time that the squad is announced for the 50th World Cup, did you go into this series thinking, I need a big score because there's not much time left?
Not really. I don't think you ever you want big scores and stuff like that. I've played a lot of cricket, and obviously big scores are great and they help your case in getting selected, but I've played a lot of cricket, and I think along the way with the summer I've got ahead, there's a lot of cricket ahead to dictate what they decide to do at the World Cup. But at no stage has it really been at the kind of top of my head. I've been very hypercritical of myself, knowing that I haven't scored runs, but you don't want to look too far ahead. That's a long way ahead, and I wasn't even thinking that at the start of last year for the T20 stuff. But that was such a bad run of form. They had no choice. So fortunately, this knock has obviously helped my case to keep me there or thereabouts.
Even if you just take the World Cup out of the equation, to get 100 in these conditions, this part of the world, because it's the first one you've got to divide, the first one in this part, that you must be seriously satisfied at this stage of your career to still be kind of achieving new things.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously every place you go poses completely different skill sets. None more so than somewhere like here. I've played a bit in India and scored runs in India, and no hundreds, no big hundreds, but batted well there. But to come here on slow turners where it's a bit inconsistent, I think as far as your skill sets go as a batsman, it's as rewarding as it can get. I think scoring runs in these sort of conditions. So very happy with that, and to score the amount we scored as well on that wicket in a series-defining match was awesome.
Can I just ask about Admiral Rashid? He had a tough day yesterday, being quizzed by video link from London. That's not a great way to prepare for a game. What does it say about his kind of mental fortitude, the character and the skill bowler he is that he managed to produce?
Yeah, I think when you've got that amount of when you've played that amount of cricket, you're that experienced. I think no matter what happens, even leading up to when you bowl your first ball, you've got the backing that you know that you're going to be okay, because you've played that much cricket that no matter what's happened, you're going to be okay. He's a highly skillful bowler and a huge asset for us, and he showed it today. He's kept his head down through everything that he's going through. He's worked hard. He's training extremely hard. So he bowled extremely well tonight again.
You spoke about watching Malin's innings on Wednesday. What did you learn from watching that interaction today?
Well, for me, it was just time at the crease. I knew that if I was to bat at that amount of time, I'd be on a lot of runs as well. So that's as simple as that. I wanted to make sure that I reduced the risk in boundary options. The one I got out to was actually the highest risk probably boundary option I took, and got out stupidly. So it was just about batting time and spending time out there.
You look really frustrated when you got out. Obviously, you were motoring at that point.
It just started freeing up a bit, mate. Yeah, to be honest, I started freeing up my shoulders and enjoying it. It was tough up till then, and it was at the 36th over or so, around about that sort of time, and it was a time where we could have really pushed on the button. Luckily, and we both said to each other it was going to be tough for someone coming in. Luckily, it wasn't. You know, the guys came in with their skills and smacked it everywhere. So that was fortunate, but in the future, it would be nice to kind of see it through to 45, 46 overs. You know what I mean? So slightly frustrated, but I mean at the same time, hugely delighted.
Do you ever get out and think, well, I did good there?
I think when you get a good ball, I actually after my 100 and stuff, the second ODI, I was just saying to Joss, I got out to Lungi, Nipaka, and I walked off. I was like, you know what, like whatever. I've prepared, I've done everything I can do, and I've just got out. That's just the way it goes. And so those times do happen, but it's just making sure that I'm putting in the right preparation to let myself succeed. That's the most important thing for me.
Last few before we go.
Listen, how different was the pitch today compared to the first game, and was it easier for Stoke?
It was easier for who?
Easier for you to bat.
Easier for me to bat.
For the England.
Yeah, I only faced 4 balls the other day, so it was a lot easier today, clearly. But no, it was consistently spinning a lot. There was a bit more spin, it seemed, but it was consistent. I think the other day it was slightly inconsistent bounce as well as turn, so it was obviously far lower scoring. Whereas today there was still a bit of bounce, but it was just very slow. But yeah, I think the boys showed a high amount of skill coming in, especially in the last few overs, to give us that total.
We got the back and then to it, and then we're done.
Skills that you mentioned the first time, in terms of what you're planning, they were swept a lot, become tighter and successful. Was it on such a plan or it just instinctively?
No, it was a plan. I think with the amount it was turning as well, for me to go over point was actually the safest option, as opposed to, I tried a couple of times to go over cover and it was just too slow and too much spin. So I tried to put that to bed quite quickly. And then to Shakib, once he gets the undercutter, I should have hit him at the side screen, but I tried to sweep him. So that was a slightly poor decision. But apart from that, I think you had to keep your boundary options very simple. You couldn't hit it wherever you wanted to. Like in a lot of other games, if you get a lot of runs, you can actually hit the ball wherever you want. Whereas out there, that was pretty much one of the only boundary options for me today.
Yeah, just going back to Adil Rashid. Clearly, there was a lot of support that he needed to be given over the last 24 hours. Did you, as a team, sort of come together to provide that support? No,
I think he knows how much he's loved. You know, he knows the support's always there. I think it's the same for every single player in the team. It's sort of that you just know it's there. You don't need to worry about what's going on. The boys have always got your back. And what he's going through is very personal to him. So no one wants to dive too much into his business. You know, people have got lives outside of cricket. And you got to respect someone's space sometimes. But he's a very kind of strong character, strong-willed guy, and he's got some good people around him.
Cool, thanks all.
There we go.